really is fun to be here with a great group of people who actually are politically engaged, knowledgeable, that that care about the country. It's always a fun evening. I've met so many great people here. Colonel, it's a real honor to meet you. You're representative of the very best of our veterans and why we need to continue to support them in every way that we possibly can. And a big thank you to Alice for inviting me. She caught, where was it, a football game? Where were we?
I accosted you at
The Salvation Army.
Salvation Army.
Raising money for Hurricane Michael.
That's right. Yeah, she's very persuasive. And by the way, your comments are absolutely right about women. Women are going to be the secret to winning this election. Harlan told you about the passion. She told you the secret, super sauce. We got to sell ourselves to women. We're playing to, my demographic, the old white guys. We got enough of them. I do want to make a quick mention. My wife is a great Republican. She's a great member of my team. I couldn't do this. I wouldn't do this without her. And she would be here tonight, but my hometown is Panama City, and Hurricane Michael came through there 8 weeks ago. And so she had to go home and meet an insurance adjuster, and that's really important. So that's where she is tonight. So I know what you're hearing in the national media. You're hearing that we're doing this is a gridlock Congress, do nothing. It's just hyper partisan. They can't get anything done. Let's take a look at that, the facts behind that, because I think that's not true. This Congress in the last 2 years has passed more laws than any first 2-year Congress and administration since Harry Truman was president. And they're not Flag Day laws; they're good laws. This is, this is tax cuts. These are streamlining regulations. This is real law, and so I'm actually very proud of what we've been doing the last 22 months. What has Trump managed in 22 months? It's pretty exciting. Let's 11 months into the Tax Cut Act, 22 months into the administration. How is America doing? 4% growth in the first 2 quarters of the year. I think we'll make 3% for the year easily. 6 million new jobs. The unemployment numbers are the lowest since 1969. All-time historic low unemployment numbers for Hispanics and blacks. Wage growth, 2.8%, the best in 16 years. There are more jobs that are open than there are people to fill them. 87 million Americans got a cut on their utility bill because of the Tax Cut Act. And capital reinvestment in small businesses is at record all-time highs, as is the confidence in small businesses. No living American, I would argue, has ever seen an economy this good. It's just amazing what 22 months of having a president who is pro-American can do for the country. Yeah, you may Now, I personally believe, I firmly believe that we are just begun to unleash the potential in America. Right now we're going through this rocky negotiation on the trade thing, but it's being finalized. NAFTA got finalized, South Korea got finalized, Japan got finalized. Next we finalize Europe, and Europe is already ready to cave on some big things. I think we're going to have great growth for the next few years. I see the upside of this in a major way. So what else is going on in Washington? Well, President Trump did save the Constitution. That's not bad. And he did it by the simple expedient of appointing judges who actually believe in the Constitution. And we all know about the Supreme Court judges, but there's 25 federal circuit court judges he's also appointed. So this really changes the complexion of the judiciary in America. We'll give him another couple of years and another 40 or 50 appointments, maybe another Supreme Court judge or two. And it really changes America for generations. That's a very, very, very important thing. That's the only thing that might be as important as winning in 2020. North Korea is at the negotiation table for the first time in a serious way in my life. I have 4 generations of my family served in Korea, including me and my son. I mean, the President of the United States has never met the President of North Korea until Trump. And the media can't stand it. They are screaming bloody murder. This guy's done more for negotiations. It's just amazing on that. How about energy independence for America? can almost see it from here. We almost make enough oil and gas products that we don't need to import any. That changes the world. It changes our politics. It changes our alliances. That's an amazingly important accomplishment. And we're finally tackling the opioid crisis head on. Resources going straight to the community. And the other day, in the G20 meeting, President Trump talks to Xi and says, no more fentanyl. We don't want any more of your fentanyl. That's what kills everybody. You see, all the overdoses, they're all dying on fentanyl and fentanyl analogs. No more fentanyl from China. That's pretty amazing. We're holding the Veterans Administration bureaucracy accountable. We've passed laws. They can now be fired. That was a new thing last year. 1,800 were fired by the middle of this summer. I don't have the numbers in the last couple of months, but we're finally holding them accountable, and we're giving the veterans choice on their care. And I think that's what's going to, yes, that's what's going to drive quality. So when I ran in 16, I ran on three main issues: the economy, national security, and healthcare. Let's take a quick snapshot of each of those areas. In the economy, in general, the best thing the government can ever do for the economy is get out of the way, get off your back, less regulations, and cut taxes. So we did both of those things. That's good. And how is it working? Well, we eliminated more regulations than any Congress in history, and Trump has said it was 22 regulations gone for every new regulation created, and he's right. The number runs at right about 67 gone and 3 new regulations. So 22 to 1, that's a great ratio, right? There's an old saying: a growing economy doesn't solve all problems, but it makes all problems easier to solve. And that's what we've got. So let's make hay while the sun's shining. National security. We finally got this one right. So I'm a veteran. In my family, every generation has served, from the Revolutionary War to Afghanistan, and a son who did multiple tours there. We have a deep understanding of the military, and I can tell you, I've watched, the military has been gutted. I've been downrange, I've watched them cannibalizing their tanks, their trucks, their helicopters, just to keep a few of them operational. America was in steep decline, militarily and internationally. Our allies didn't trust us, and our enemies didn't fear us. So President Trump got to work with General Mad Dog Mattis. I love that name. Even he likes it. And they put together a plan to rebuild the military. And then the president came to Congress and he said, I want you guys to give him the resources to do what he needs to do. And we did. And now, we are rebuilding the military. We are back. This sends a message to the whole world. America is back. And let me tell you, they love us for it. Now, you won't see this in the newspaper. You won't see this in the headlines. But when I go to these foreign countries, they are so grateful that we're back in the saddle, because they were really worried it was going to be China or nothing. I mean, so that's true in Europe. It's true in Asia. It's true in Africa. Australia's a great ally. This is a big change, sea change of things. And as a veteran, I'm never going to apologize for supporting our troops. I think that's important. Healthcare. The Affordable Care Act is unaffordable. We know that. And the House repealed Obamacare, and the Senate fell short by 1 vote. That was the saddest moment of this 115th Congress. But President Trump didn't stop. He kept working through HHS on the regulatory side, and you're seeing a stabilization of the healthcare cost. It's still too high, but it's stabilizing. It's not going up 20%, 25% a year. So that's an inflecting point there on the curve, and that's good. What we need is a patient-centered, market-based, sort of care program with transparent pricing for everybody. Everybody knows what they're paying for and how much they're paying for. Currently, the piece of health that I take care of is the Veterans Administration's health system. That's a pretty good chunk of healthcare, actually. We have 330,000 employees. We spend $100 billion of your money a year. And it's arguably true that we don't really get a lot of value for that. And we were in the middle of instituting an audit, just like Mattis had done for the Defense Department. And that is going to get clipped by the change of hands in the House, honestly. So I don't think we're going to get that audit next year. But I promise you, as the ranking member, I'll try to get it on, and I will certainly bring it back if you were to win the House with me in 2020. I do want you to know that our veterans fought for us, and I'm going to continue to fight for them. I don't think anything else is fair. So in conclusion, what I would like to say to you is that America truly is exceptional. Never doubt America is exceptional. We actually are the shining city on the hill. And as Abraham Lincoln himself said, the last great hope of mankind. There are many, many countries around the world that are watching us, and they're watching us much more closely than we think they are, and much more closely than you think, and with much more interest than you think just reading the headlines in the papers and the news, because they're misrepresenting the concerns they have about America. But I want to thank you guys for supporting our president and for being engaged. I want you to know that it's not just about President Trump, it's about the future of our country, the direction it's heading. It's about our children and our grandchildren. And so thank you very, very much for your service to this great nation. And thank you so much for having me here today.